Hey, yo, what's up, YouTube? Man, it's your boy, Action Jackson. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the potential concern of our offensive line moving forward before the NFL season starts. So before we hop into the video, I'd appreciate it if you guys would like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment, and share my video with anyone who you think will enjoy my content, man. So hopping straight into it, really, for me, it's as simple as it was last year. Every single year that I've, talked about the Cowboys, or even when I wasn't talking about the Cowboys, now closely pay attention to the Cowboys roster before I even started doing YouTube. I always figured that there was always a hole or multiple holes that needed to be filled. But outside of the previous years to this year, the only major hole that we have right now is offensive line, really. And I'm looking at it from a tackle position, from swing tackle in particular, right tackle, guard, and those are the only two positions. So swing tackle, so the tackle position in general, if we're not having Tyler Smith playing left tackle, and offensive guard, mainly left guard. So I think just to, if you're new around to the channel, welcome, subscribe, consider subscribing, everything like that. But, the Dallas Cowboys don't have this offensive line that a lot of media outlets try to make it seem. Yes, when we had an offensive line, that's when our offense was at its ceiling, is when we have one of the best offensive line in the game. And we haven't had that at least for the last 6-7 years, and it's really easy just to go over, really. So from 2014 to 2016, we had an impeccable offensive line. Tyron Smith was your left tackle. You had Doug Free at right tackle. Your guards were Martin, Ron Leary, and then center you had Travis Frederick. Going into 2017, you had Frederick at center. You had miscellaneous left guard, who was Jonathan Cooper. Right guard, so your constant Hall of Famer was Zach Martin. Right tackle, you had Lel Collins. Left tackle, you had Tyron Smith. 2018 rolls around. You lose. Not only did you not refill that left guard position, now you lose your Hall of Famer, All-Pro center in Travis Frederick. Now Tyron Smith health had been declining since 2016. 2017, that's when the major famous game of us losing to Atlanta Falcons, when Adrian Claiborne all of a sudden decided to turn Lawrence Taylor over Chaz Green. We ever since then, we've been trying to get quality swing depth tackle, whether that was Cameron Fleming in 2018, Ty Nsekhe in 2021. And that was really about it, really, for when it comes to that side of the ball, with injuries for Tyron Smith. So he hasn't been consistent in health. We've never been able to figure out a left guard position. Center has been a question mark, from 2017 to 2018-19. Then 20, once Travis Frederick came back after 2019, but officially retired. Then we had drafted Tyler Biotish. Then we had been solid there, but now we haven't been able to find that left guard position. And for me, I think that's going to be your biggest question, because the reason I feel like it's going to be the biggest question, because last year, I was talking about wide receiver, how it was going to be a problem, because I said if CeeDee Lamb was only the person on the outside, on the perimeter, that was going to be able to create any separation or any big plays outside of Tony Pollard, I think you're going to have a hell of a season, and it's going to be very hard for you to stay competitive in games from an offensive passing standpoint, considering where the NFL is now, more like on a 7-on-7 type of standpoint, to where if your quarterback can sling it, he has to have weapons around him, and he can't just have one. He has to have two. One that's the guy, two that can complement the number one, and at least a number three who can consistently win and beat the third corner. And we didn't have that, and that showed up very evidently against the San Francisco 49ers, who had the best defense in that season. So now fast forwarding to 22, we did everything we were supposed to. Brandon Cooks, Gallup is looking back into form, is what I'm hearing in minicamp. But right now, if you were to roll in your offensive line right now, it would be left tackle Tyler Smith, right tackle Tyron Smith. Your guards would be either Matt Forniak, who I've been hearing a lot of great praise from Kyle Yeomans and everyone who's been doing great work, Patrick Nosey Walker, everyone who's been doing great work out there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for the Dallas Cowboys. They've been doing really well covering the team for many years. So you got them doing their job, and I have been hearing that Matt Forniak is most likely right now the candidate to win left guard. Then you would have Biotish, and then, of course, Martin. That would be your front five. So again, Tyler Smith, Tyron Smith at your tackles. Guards will be Fournier and Martin, and center will be Biotis. But in a dream world, in like a Madden-like world where your offensive line is healthy and you have injuries off, your best front five, I think, in my opinion, would be Terrence Steele at tackle, Tyron Smith at your other tackle. Your guards will be Tyler Smith and Zach Martin, and your center will be Biotis. And I would roll with that front five versus any front four we see, whether that is Javon Hargrave with the Niners, Bosa, Armstead, Drake Jackson, Nolan Smith, Hassan Reddick, Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, Josh Sweat, whoever they got elsewhere, whoever else they drafted. Then, potentially you got to look at the Lions, maybe if there's something. Lions, they got Seattle, Derek Hall, Boye Mafe. They got Tyreek Smith at Ohio State that they drafted. So they got a solid guys up front as well. So, that up front five that I originally had named with Tyron Smith, Tyler, your guards being Fournier and Martin, and of course Biotis. I don't want that five playing against the Niners, the Eagles, maybe Seattle, maybe whoever comes out the South, whether that's Atlanta, Carolina, or New Orleans. You don't really want that front five against those five. But I do think that you need an offensive line that can be able to be stout when you do have Tyron Smith that will eventually go down. That's the main thing that remains in question for me is the offensive line is really your tackles, because Terrence Steele's coming back from a torn ACL. You have a clear, evident showcase when you're talking about the ACL injury. In particular, you look at Michael Gallup. He tore his ACL in 21. He came back in 22. Too early, in my opinion, wasn't the same. Then now when he come in 23, you're hearing a lot of great praise from him, how he's looking back to himself athletically as he was. So that was that. Then you also got to look about OBJ. He previously had faced the ACL injury. When he came back, he wasn't the same. Got cut, went to the Rams. He later on came on late in that season, did well, basically opened the gate for him to win that Super Bowl. Then, you look, Carson Wentz, he wasn't, had an MVP-like year. He comes back the next year in 2018, isn't the same. 2019, he has a relatively solid year. They go to the playoffs. So those are just few quick examples of guys who tore the ACL. The first year back, they're not the same. Second year, they're back to themselves. So I feel like that's what's going to happen with Terrence Steele. Now, if Terrence Steele is a revelation and he comes in and he doesn't have to worry about that, which, it could happen, but if we don't have to worry about him as an ACL, then I'm fine with Terrence Steele at right tackle. I have full confidence in him. And really, it's just that left guard position, because I don't trust Tyron Smith playing full games. He only played 4 games for you last season. 21, he played 11. 20, he played 2. So that's not really great numbers for your offensive tackle that when he is healthy, he is a Hall of Famer. So for me, I think the viable options for left guard for you, for the Dallas Cowboys is, since the Dallas Cowboys like to stay relatively young when it comes to their offensive line, I'm looking for anyone at least late 20s, early 30s, nothing more. I'm not looking in the mid 30s really, but last year was a revelation going with Jason Peters, but he gave you solid work in Chicago in years before in the past playing with the Philadelphia Eagles. So I think left guard, if you're looking at it from the Dallas Cowboys standpoint. Now I'm looking on the free agency side of things with Spotrac. So of course, educate me if any of these guys have been signed, but I haven't heard anything from their camps or anything saying that they have been signed. But if you're the Dallas Cowboys, I'll look at a guy like Justin Pugh, gave you solid snaps for you in Arizona last year. He's 32 years old. 31 with Gabe Jackson. He came from the Seattle Seahawks. They cut him because they've been doing really well drafting an offensive line with Cross, and then you got Abe Lucas, and then they've been doing really well on that end. They got AJ Cam. They got Trey Turner, who's 30, who was he was solid for the Carolina Panthers, Pittsburgh Steelers, Washington. 2 teams, Washington and Pittsburgh. Dalton Brincer, he's 27 years old. He has high upside. He was selected in the 2nd round, pick 41. So obviously he's a top 50 guy for the Dallas Cowboys. And, that'll be great if the Dallas Cowboys can, potentially pick somebody up in that stratosphere of a young guy who can still give you burn. He's 27 years old. He can go out there. He can still play. I know you got Taylor Lewan. He kind of is in the same kind of range of like a Tyron Smith, to where that he's injury prone as well. He is due for an injury. But I think that if you can bring him in as like a swing tackle, I know he wants to start, but maybe he sits, maybe he comes in, he can start for you, maybe start for you at left tackle. That's just a possibility. I'm just throwing that out there. But really, like I said, the left guard position is what you want to look at, because I think you have the best consistent and healthy offensive line when you go Tyler, Terrence Steele, Martin. And if you were to go a guy like Justin Pugh, Gabe Jackson, Dalton Rincer, maybe a Trey Turner, then you got Zach Martin and Biotis. You should be fine right there, and I would roll out with a guy like that. Or really, for me, if you get Austin Richards who can step in and play and fill in that void, we'll be fine. And then for swing tackle purposes, if we can get a guy like maybe a Matt Waletzko, who we used the Amari Cooper pick on, or Josh Ball, who was said to have high upside in the 2021 NFL draft when we selected him in the 4th round, possibly he can step in and be a quality swing tackle for you. So yeah, man, that's about it for the video. If you guys have a nice day, stay safe, stay blessed. Bye.